Right.
Lather yourself up with the Duke Cannon solid cologne, because the stink of the New York Times nonsense is all over you right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to do this to you. So as I said, the New York Times is not dumb. They're full-time liberal activists, and they've been instructed by their liberal bosses and masters as they're sitting there doing their boot-licking, butt-kissing, sycophantic routine to get out the narrative quick that anything that comes out negative about Ukraine is going to be Russian propaganda because they're colluding with Trump. So here's a New York Times article. This is just peachy. What a perfect little drop yesterday, coincidentally time. New York Times yesterday, given my handy-dandy hand signal there. There you go. Thank you, Miss Paula. New York Times, Russians hacked Ukrainian gas company at center of impeachment by a Nicole Pietra, whatever, and Matthew Rosenberg, of course, always involved in liberal activism full-time. They worked at the New York Times. So listen to this, folks. Again, after what I just told you, this is so transparent. You'll see right through this. From the New York Times piece. It's not yet clear what the hackers found, folks, or precisely what the Russians were searching for. But the experts say the timing and scale of the attacks, kind of sounds like the DNC nonsense, right? Suggest the Russians could be searching for potentially embarrassing material on the Bidens. And make no mistake, folks, I'm ad-libbing here. When it comes out, the New York Times are going to blame this on collusion again. Here they go on. This is the same kind of information that Mr. Trump wanted from Ukraine when he pressed for an investigation of the Bidens and Burisma, setting off a chain of events that led to his impeachment. You get it? Oh, keep that up there. You get it? You get what they're doing? Anything that comes out from this point on, the New York Times is going to say, this is what Trump wanted from Russia, and the Russians dutifully provided it because Collusion Part 2, folks, the sequel. Collusion Strikes Back. What was the second Lord of the Rings thing? The Two Towers of Collusion. What was the sequel to Aliens? Collusion. Collusion. Collusioners. Remember it was Alien and Aliens? Collusions. This is the sequel. Collusions. What are some of the other great sequels? Were there any other great sequels? But I haven't seen either, so this is kind of embarrassing. But The Godfather of Collusion, Part 2. You have Collusions, you have Collusion Strikes Back, and then you have The Godfather of Collusions, the sequel. This is it. Here they go. Anything that comes out will be blamed on Donald Trump, just like they blamed Donald Trump for the terrorist Iranian mullahs shooting down an airliner. This is how sick.
Absolutely. That's right. That's right.
It's
Don Bongino.
Mr. Corleone, is this about to happen? Are we all in trouble here? Am I getting on the wrong side of the mob? Is this a bad thing? Should we cut this segment out?
You have nothing to worry about, Mr. Bongino. Just keep on exposing the truth.
I don't mind being on the wrong side of Democrats. Being on the wrong side of Corleone's, I'm not so sure it's a good idea. And I haven't even seen the movies. I know it's an embarrassment. But when I first met Paula, she had the DVD set in her house in her little apartment in Bayside. In one of the most humiliating moments of my life, you had the DVD set, right? And she's like, "I love this movie." I'm like, I haven't seen it." She's like, "You haven't seen The Godfather?" She was gonna. That was it. Like the date was almost over. We would not be married today. I don't know how I recovered from that humiliating moment, but I have not seen The Godfather. But this is the sequel. All right, but without further ado, back to the New York Times. There's a second part of this. So they're setting up Collusions, Collusion Strikes Back, and The Godfather of Collusion, Part 2. Here we go. The Russian tactics, the Russian tactics are strikingly similar to what American intel agencies, remember the same ones that told us Spygate was a hoax show, say was the Russian hacking of emails from the Clinton campaign chairman and the DNC. Get that off. I can't even expose my audience anymore to this stupidity. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen. Go get yourself, not if they're doing this, go get yourself a bar of Duke Cannon because it's not for clowns and wash yourself of this stupid. Take it out here. Let me open the box. Take it out. Here's the Duke. Rub it in. Here you go. Underneath your armpits, your face, and here, armpit here. Rub yourself clean using the Not for Clowns Duke Cannon big ass brick of soap, and wash yourself clean of the stupid we just exposed. And while you're at it, take a little face wash, a little squirt. Here you go. Rub it in your face. Wash your face. Face on top. Wash your face there. This is what you have to do now. What?
Got some on your cheek there, bro. Yeah. Yeah, lower. Okay, this is going to make the replays. Okay.
This is up there. Drew, put this in our best of bloopers reel this week. It's not a blooper. I did it on purpose. And then lather yourself up with the Duke Cannon solid cologne, because the stink of the New York Times nonsense is all over you right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to do this to you. I apologize. But listen to me. I don't want any of you, I'm very serious. I know I joke around enough, but I don't want any of you to be blindsided by what's coming. You're already ready for the turkey hoax. I'm not talking about the gobble gobble Joe doing the Genucel read turkey hoax. I'm talking about the turkey, the country hoax. They're going to say Trump colluded with the Turks to pull troops out of Syria to benefit the Turks. They just made that up. There's no evidence of that at all. We're not even out of Syria. I wish we were. Now you're ready for Collusions. Collusion Strikes Back, the sequel. He colluded with the Russians to get information from the Ukrainians about Hunter Biden and Soros and the Ukrainian corruption. And therefore, what he got from the Russians is all propaganda. None of it's real because he colluded. That's one of my favorite segments we've ever done.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.